Today, we're flying on Swiss Airlines' newest business class, Swiss Senses, on their A350-900 from Zurich to Montreal. Does Swiss Senses have what it takes to be the best business class in Europe? And how does it compare to their parent company of Lufthansa's Allegris? What I'll tell you right now, though, is that there is one way in which Swiss Senses is far superior to Lufthansa's Allegris. But let's find out all this together on today's flight. Our trip starts off here at the Swiss Business Lounge here in Zurich.
Hi, so let's talk lounges. So as a business class passenger, you can access the Swiss business lounges here in Zurich. So I'm going to show you guys around, but I actually also have Star Alliance Gold status, which means that I can also access the Swiss Senator lounges. So afterwards, I will show you the Senator lounge as well.
We are visiting the Swiss Business Lounge located in Terminal D today. You can see here that there's various types of seating. In addition to your typical buffet where you can choose your own little food adventure, you also have a self-service bar where you can help yourself to various liquors, champagne, beer, and wine. You'll also have a much-needed coffee and tea station, as well as an assortment of sodas and other non-alcoholic beverages. There's also a chef's bar where you can have various dishes made to order right in front of you. Here's a look of what's available on the a la carte menu during breakfast time, which was when I was at the lounge.
Okay, so one last thing that I want to mention about the business lounges before we check out the Senator Lounge is that you don't actually have to be flying in business class to access it. They also sell day passes as well. So if you are flying economy or premium economy, you can purchase an access pass to visit the business lounge. It is 49 Swiss francs to visit the business lounges and then 69 Swiss francs to visit the Rival Lounge. But for now, let's go check out the Senator Lounge.
Alright, so if you're thinking now that the Senator Lounge looks exactly like the Business Lounge, it's because they do look extremely similar. I will say that the Swiss Senator Lounge was larger and had more seating available compared to the Business Lounge. In terms of food, there was also a buffet, and the food in the buffet in the Senator Lounge had the exact same items that you found in the Business Lounge. One difference with the food, though, was at the chef's bar. In addition to the a la carte items available in the Business Lounge, the Senator Lounge also had two additional menu items, which were the Swiss omelette and the fried mushrooms. The Senator Lounge also had the same coffee and tea station, the same non-alcoholic beverages, and same self-service bar and drink options. The biggest difference in the drinks, though, was definitely this whiskey bar, which was really quite impressive looking. There are over 200 types of whiskey that you can sample from, and the whiskey bar was definitely the biggest difference between the two lounges. I also got a chance to check out the shower rooms. The shower rooms were clean and modern and had everything that you would need. Inside the shower, there was a rainfall shower head as well as a handheld shower. In terms of amenities, there were soaps and lotions from Zurich-based brand Soder and Swiss's signature scent, Alpine Valley. And they also provide a hairdryer, so no need to bring your own. The last thing about these lounges is that both the Business Lounge and the Senator Lounge do have an outdoor terrace area with fantastic views of the apron. And we are in luck today because our A350 aircraft just happened to be parked right outside the lounge. And it is sporting the special new Swiss Wanderlust livery, which features artwork from the Swiss artist Frederick Siegel. The artwork pays homage to Switzerland and features famous landmarks, traditional arts, and sports events.
All right, so those were the lounges, but let's get going to the gate because it's now time to board our flight. I am super excited to finally be trying out Swiss's new Senses business class.
Today, we'll be boarding out of gate E46. As a business class passenger, we'll get to board in group 2 after first class, people that need special assistance, and Hans Circle members. Alright, as for the new Swiss Senses business class cabin, if you're familiar with Lufthansa's Allegris Business Class, then Swiss Senses Business will look very familiar, and that's because they're the exact same seats. Except that Swiss Senses has the Swiss colors and branding, of course, and there are 45 seats on Swiss Senses Business Class versus Lufthansa's Allegris 38 seats for the A350 aircraft. But let's do a quick review of the seat types anyways. There are 45 business class seats arranged in either a 1-1-1 configuration or a 1-2-1 configuration, and this is due to the fact that there are 5 different seat types available. The first seat type is the classic seats. There are 14 of the classic seats, and I personally think they are the worst ones just because they face the aisle, so privacy isn't as good as some of the other seats. Then there are the privacy seats. There are 12 of these seats, and the side table is next to the aisle while the seats are next to the window. Third type is the extra long bed seats. There are 5 of these seats, and they're exactly like the classic seats, but have more legroom for all you tall people out there. The fourth type of seat is the extra space seat, aka the throne seats that are in the center. There are 5 of these seats available, and they are one of the 2 seat types that come at an additional cost. Then the fifth and final seat type are the business suites located in the bulkhead rows. There are 80 of these seats available, and they are the largest and most private of all the seats, as they're the only ones that have a door and become fully enclosed, as well as having higher walls that you can see here. These seats, unsurprisingly, also come at an additional cost. All of the seat types are free of charge to select, with the exception of the business suites and the throne seats. If we go on the Swiss website, we can find out how much it costs to select them. The price depends on 2 factors. The first is the length of the route. Because our route today is from Europe to the east coast of Canada, our flight is considered as medium intercontinental. The second factor is the seat type. So we can see here that for medium intercontinental, the price of the extra space seat, which is the throne seat, is 170 euros. They also list the price in Swiss francs and US dollars as well. And then we can see the cost for the business suite for our route, which would be 500 euros.
Okay, so I just wanted to talk about seat selection for a little bit because I think it is very interesting how Lufthansa Allegris and Swiss Senses have the exact same seats, but they have adopted completely opposite pricing structures when it comes to seat selection. And in my opinion, the Swiss Senses method is far superior to the Lufthansa method. So you might already be familiar, but Lufthansa Allegris charges for every single seat type except for the classic seat,
whereas Swiss Senses, on the completely opposite end of the scale, makes all the seat types complimentary except for the business suites and the throne seats, which I personally feel is much more reasonable. Hopefully they'll consider adopting the same pricing structure for Lufthansa Allegris as they have for Swiss Senses, especially since they're the exact same seats. But I'm also not holding my breath. Today, we'll be seated in seat 7A, which is a privacy seat. These are the seats where the side table is next to the aisle and the seat is next to the window. If you're going for a privacy seat like I am, you might want to sit on the last row like me, since the side table in these privacy seats have an extra large side table. This is what the side table looks like for the standard privacy seats. You can see that the side table in the other privacy seats are much smaller. As for the seat types themselves, they have a 54 centimeter or 21 inch width and a row pitch of 213 centimeters or 84 inches. And that is for all the seat types, so they're equal in those regards. As for the footwell space, this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's nice and roomy. There's also a storage locker, and inside the storage locker were the headphones and a bottle of water. And while there are no air vents up above, each seat does come with its own individual air vent, which I personally think is great. In terms of charging, there is a USB-A port, an AC power port, a USB-C port, and wireless charging on the side table. And underneath the side table, there was also this extra storage space as well, which I found really handy for keeping items close at hand. Before takeoff, we're offered a hot towel for our hands and a welcome drink. For the welcome drink, there was a choice between an elderberry drink, champagne, and their signature cocktail, the Swiss Alpine Essence, which is their twist on a Negroni. It blends dry white vermouth, elderflower, white cacao, mint, citrus, and herbal notes. I did choose the Swiss Alpine Essence. It's quite nice, and definitely give it a try if you get the chance. It's now time for the safety video and takeoff. And once we're in the air, the crew gets started on the welcome drinks and snacks. First though, just a quick moment of appreciation for the tray table. It's absolutely massive, which I love. For the beverages, I chose a glass of champagne as well as a glass of sparkling water with lemon. For the snacks, there was a choice between cashews or cheese, and since Switzerland is famous for their cheese, I of course chose the cheese. Okay, now let's take a quick look at the Amenity kit. This is what the Amenity kit looks like. It's by Swiss eyewear brand Vue. Although there are 2 alternate Amenity kit styles and colors available, and you'll receive one of these styles and colors at random. Inside the Amenity kit, you'll find a dental kit, earplugs, and a pair of black socks. And if you'd also like an eye mask, lip balm, mouthwash, or a microfiber cleaning cloth, they are available upon request. This is what those items look like in case you're curious. Alright, now let's take a look at our menus. First, here's the main meal menu, which is lunch. The snack, pre-arrival meal, champagne, and white wine menu. Here are the red wines, cocktails, beer, and sodas, and finally, tea, coffee, and digestifs. In addition to the onboard menu, there are also 4 additional dishes you can choose from that are exclusive to the online pre-order menu. This is what the online exclusive dishes were. The appetizer arrives first. I went with the lemongrass and ginger prawns. The prawns are served with fennel salad, grapefruit, dill cream, and roasted hazelnuts. I really enjoyed this combination of flavors, and the lemongrass and ginger prawns were really flavorful and tasty as well. The crew also stopped by and offered bread from the bread basket. I went with the pretzel roll, which I always enjoy. There was also a side salad, and the side salad came with an olive oil balsamic dressing. Next was the soup, which was a chilled tomato soup, and this was really light and refreshing. For the main, I went with one of the online pre-order exclusives, the spaghetti with lobster sauce, seafood, and cherry tomatoes. The seafood in the pasta included shrimp, scallops, and clams. And while they were very generous with the amount of seafood in the pasta, the flavor was bland. The appetizer was definitely the star of this meal. Lastly, there was dessert. I went with the basil cream tart with yuzu and yogurt ganache and lemon and basil gel. I really enjoyed this dessert. It was the perfect blend of sour from the yuzu and lemon and sweet from the cream. If you're the type of person that enjoys a lemon meringue or a key lime pie, this will probably be a winner for you too. And if dessert isn't quite enough, the crew also offered some Swiss chocolates afterwards, and I chose an almond one. Now that lunch is done, let's take a look at the lavatories. There are 3 dedicated lavatories for 45 business class passengers. I have to say that I do like this leather toilet seat cover. I think it adds a nice touch of class to the lavatories. In terms of amenities, there was some surface cleaner and some soaps and lotions from the brand Soder, like we saw in the lounge. There is a foot pedal to open the garbage bin. The foot pedal is a business class exclusive because I know that the lavatories in economy and premium economy do not have a foot pedal. The faucet is also automatic, and there's also a full-length mirror in the back wall as well. Alright, let's head back now so we can check out the seats in full lie-flat mode. In fully lie-flat mode, all the seats are 2 meters long, or approximately 79 inches, with the exception of the extra long bed, which is 2.2 meters or 86.6 inches. Since this was a daytime flight, there's no mattress topper, but if you take a night flight that is 10 hours or longer, you will get a mattress topper. This is what it looks like. You'll also get a sleep shirt for any 10+ hour night flights as well. But even though we don't get sleep shirts or mattress toppers for daytime flights, we do still get a standard size pillow as well as a blanket. And even though this was a daytime flight and I wasn't really tired, here's my demonstration of what it looks like if you do want to sleep. I did find it to be spacious enough. Here's what the footwell looks like in fully lie-flat mode. There's no narrowing at all, so plenty of room for your feet. Now for those of you that like to snack, there aren't any snacks set up in the galley, but you can order from this snack menu in between meals if you'd like. Okay, now let's talk about the headphones and the IFE. All the seats have a 4K 17.3-inch or 44cm screen, with the exception of the business suites and the extra space seats, the throne seats, which have a 24-inch or a 61cm 4K touchscreen display. If you prefer to use a remote or have difficulties reaching the display, each seat does come with these giant tablet-sized remotes as well. As for the headphones, they are noise cancelling, and this is what they look like. They're quite good, but if you do prefer to use your own, the IFE does have Bluetooth capability as well. Okay, now let's talk about the entertainment. In terms of movies, there were over 200 movies available, so you should have no problem finding something you're interested in. TV show selection was a little bit more limited compared to the movies, but still a solid selection available as well. If you want to stay connected, there is Wi-Fi available. Messaging is complimentary, but if you want full Wi-Fi, it will cost you 25 Swiss francs for 4 hours or 35 Swiss francs for the entire flight. Prices are also listed here in euros and US dollars as well. If you are an aviation enthusiast, you'll be pleased to know that they do have 5 external cameras where you can catch views from the front, sides, belly, and tail of the aircraft. Alright, now before we get to the pre-arrival meal and final thoughts on Swiss Senses, let's talk about how much all this cost.
All right, as always, let's talk about how much all this cost as well as what I paid. So first, what I paid, I did use points for this, and one way between Zurich and Montreal in business class for Swiss was 60,000 Air Canada Aeroplan points plus $99.70 Canadian in taxes and fees. Now for what this flight would have cost if you had paid in cash. So as always, I have to put my little disclaimer out there. The cash prices I am about to show you are just for this particular flight on this particular day. If you are searching for prices, the prices you might see might be higher or lower, just because that is the dynamic nature of prices for flights. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's fully get into the cash cost. So the prices I am about to show you are round trip costs between Zurich and Montreal, and the prices are in Canadian dollars.
So the cost in cash was around $8,300 Canadian for business basic, round trip between Zurich and Montreal, which is approximately 4,600 Swiss francs. And I've also included some conversions in other currencies down below as well, based on the current exchange rates, of course. It's now time for the pre-arrival meal. I did go for the pasta option, which was served with broccolini, salsiccia, which is a type of pork sausage, grana padano cheese, as well as toasted pine nuts. This pasta was really tasty. I give it an 8 out of 10. There was also a side of fruit, and I got a cup of green tea as well. Before landing, we're given another hot towel for our hands, as well as some more Swiss chocolate. And then it's touchdown in Montreal. And as we start to deplane, let's talk about Swiss Senses a little bit. Even though the seats are exactly the same as Lufthansa Allegris, the fact that they don't nickel and dime you for a seat selection fee the way that Lufthansa Allegris does definitely makes it more palatable compared to their parent airline. I did also find the service on Swiss to be slightly more friendly compared to Lufthansa, and the food and overall experience to be more elevated as well. But is Swiss Senses Business the best in Europe? Well, I suppose that depends on what you're looking for, as everyone is different. Hopefully this video gave you enough of an idea for you to decide if it is worth it for you, or if you'd rather fly elsewhere. For me personally, while I did enjoy the experience, I can't say that Swiss, or even Lufthansa for that matter, would be my first choice. But I wouldn't necessarily avoid Swiss either, if it were convenient for me to take them, and if the price was right, of course. But let me know your thoughts on the new Swiss Senses Business Class. And if you've enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe so that we can fly together again soon.